Please be seated.
Hello, Your Honor.
Hello.
This is a case of Luper versus Downs.
Thank you, Jerome. Good day, everyone.
Good day.
Ms. Luper, you say you thought the defendant was a respectful, church-going family man who turned out to be anything but. You claim that after giving birth to your twins, Brayley and Bishop, Mr. Downs denied fathering your babies. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Downs, you say Ms. Luper carried on a secret relationship behind your back up until she found out she was pregnant, and there is no way you are the father of her twins. Is that
yes,
correct?
Your Honor.
Ms. Luper, you thought you found the perfect church man.
Yes, Your Honor. I did
Explain.
think I found the perfect family man, but I soon found out that that wasn't the case. When we first met, Mr. Downs was amazing. He went to church. One day he offered me a ride. And as soon as we talked, like our music, everything, we just vibed. Like it was great. Then we ran into some problems. He went through my phone, and I did have a lot of open doors.
Oh, wait, hold on. Let me get that metaphor.
Okay.
Open doors. So you still had other relationships that you had not quite cut off.
Absolutely. This was 2 weeks after we started hanging out. So we weren't in a relationship, we weren't together. So I did still have open relationships with other men while I was beginning a relationship with Mr. Downs.
So, Mr. Downs, take me to the day you saw the phone. What was going on? How did you even have her phone?
I was at her house, and just something told me to pick up the phone, and I did it, and I'm looking through the phone. I'm like, okay, and I bring it to her, and I'm seeing messages from other dudes and all this other stuff, so I'm like, what is this?
What kind of messages did you see from other guys?
Messages are just trying to, hook up with her and stuff like that. So
Is she accepting the advancement?
Yeah.
Oh, you are?
Yes, Your Honor. I was in the process of closing those doors.
No, you don't close the door by saying, yeah, we can have sex. That's opening the door.
Yeah.
And in this case, creating a revolving door of doubt. So how soon after Mr. Downs went through your phone did you find out you were pregnant?
Maybe 2 weeks later. Yeah, we moved really fast. We had a wedding date in 2 months. The relationship changed tremendously though after he went through my phone. Our vibe was different. We weren't hanging out as much. When I found out I was pregnant, I called him and he didn't even answer. That's where we were at.
So how did he ever find out?
I sent him a text message. He was really nonchalant about it, but once I did get pregnant, he was amazing. Cedric rubbed my feet, rubbed my belly. He would get up at 2 a.m., go get me ice and hot Cheetos. He took me to every ultrasound appointment if he didn't have work. The pregnancy was good. We moved out of my 2-bedroom apartment. We got a 4-bedroom house. It was good.
I want to know, what did you send in this text?
I just sent him a picture of the pregnancy test.
And what was his response?
I don't remember his exact response, but I just remember him being nonchalant about it.
I was at work.
Yeah.
So what did you say back?
Okay. Like I said, I've been through your phone. I mean, what do you want me to do? You want me to jump for joy?
Oh, so your okay was already riddled with doubt because of what you saw on the phone.
Ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Well, I mean, what would you want me to feel? I mean, after I found this out, ain't no way I'm gonna sit here and, do no backflips or nothing.
So how does it get to the point where you just leave the okay to hot Cheetos and rubbing bellies and doing that? How does it get to that?
I got 3 other children outside of these 2 we here for today. I ain't never, ever turned my back on none of my kids. I've been there for all of my kids since day one. I just felt like me as a man and the way I've been obligated to my other kids, there's still a chance that they're mine, so I'm not gonna build this whole little case upon my doubts, and I'm still gonna be there until we find out what's what. So I was still gonna be there by our side until we figure it out.
That's commendable. And so take me to the birth. We know you were very present during the pregnancy when the twins were born.
As soon as they brought Brayley into the room, the first thing he said was, "Do you guys do DNA tests here? I've never had a kid come out that light." That's the first thing he said when he seen her. But he did go see my son, and he did say that he looked like him.
So when you saw Brayley, you had questions instantly. You didn't feel like you could be her father.
I mean, I know it don't really matter about the complexion and stuff, but like I said, all my kids favor me just extremely, you know what I'm saying? And I looked at Bishop, I seen more Bishop in me than Brayley, and at the same time, like I said, I know there's another man been involved, and it's part of me that wanted to accept it, and then it's part of me that my doubts and the way I felt like I was, I guess in a way, led on, that I just couldn't come my way to terms with accepting both of them or you know, either which one. But like I said, the reason for Bishop is, like I said, he just favored me, so that kind of detoured me from like questioning him.
Miss Luper, did you tell anyone else that they potentially could be the father of these beautiful twins?
One person.
You did?
Yes. Not during the pregnancy. During my pregnancy, I was sure that it was Cedric's. Twins run in his family. We were together the whole time. The timeline, everything just added up. After I had the baby, I posted Brayley on Snapchat, and the other guy who the messages he's seen wrote me and sent me a picture of his daughter and told me that, like, I believe that that's my daughter.
Wow, so you posted a picture of Brayley, and the other man you were having sex with wrote to you and said, I think this is my daughter.
Correct. Correct, Your Honor.
Excuse me, Your Honor. And another reason, like I said, that I even have any kind of this doubt, because like I said, when she first told me that she was pregnant, I had asked her, I said, so are you for sure and for certain that I'm the only man that you had unprotected sex with? And she very, very quickly told me, yes, you are the only one. So even with that being said, I'm just like this. This is 2 weeks into us dating, and I'm not using protection. How in the world did this guy before me manage to be, you know what I'm saying, so, you know, clean and safe, you know what I'm saying, using protection if you didn't even hassle me about it in the first place? How do I know he didn't use protection?
You didn't hassle me either, for the record. It's not like you ever asked me to use a condom.
But did I, when I started off, did I use it?
Cedric, we've never used a condom in our lives.
If you want more episodes of Paternity Court, make sure to subscribe and click on the notification bell. Who's on the birth certificate?
Nobody. Well, the hospital birth certificate says that the twins were born to us, but I never ordered an official birth certificate. He never signed a birth certificate.
I was at work. I would have definitely put my name on it.
You were at work, and you were at work. You have 3 other kids. You know, before you leave the hospital, you need to sign a birth certificate. He never asked me about a birth certificate. He never signed it. His cousin took us home from the hospital. If he wanted to sign a birth certificate, he could have asked me to do it.
They bring it out. I can't.
I didn't even sign the birth certificate.
Did you not sign the birth certificate, Mr. Downs, because you really had a doubt?
As me being a father, like I said, I've never had to deal with any suspicion of any of my other kids. So I've never had to go through wondering, okay, well, am I going up here to see somebody else's kids, or am I going up here to support her for her and her other dude's kids, because he needs to be here if that's the case. But at the same time, I talked to Robin about a situation too. That hospital that we had those kids in, I also lost 2 of my other babies in that very same room that she was sitting in. And I told her it's hard for me to deal with that, to sit here and think about every time I walk through that hallway in that hospital, that's the first thing that goes through my mind is me losing my other 2 daughters. You know what I mean? So I mean,
you were avoiding and dealing with more than one issue.
Yes, ma'am.
At that time.
Yes,
and I
ma'am.
think it's honest, and I appreciate your honesty when you say you were running hot and cold, because we see that a lot in paternity situation. But from your standpoint, Ms. Luper, you're saying, well, you've been here through the whole pregnancy. Where are you now?
Yeah. I think once the twins got here, everything just got worse between us on the paternity situation, obviously, because we can actually see them.
So, Mr. Downs, do you feel like you could be the father of one twin and someone else be the father of the other?
Yes, ma'am. I just like with Bishop, I felt a much bigger bond with my son. Like, every time I see him when we video chat, like, his face just lights up when I'm talking to him. Like, you know what I'm saying? He knows my face, he knows who I am. And Brayley does too, to an extent, but it's just something about my son, man, when I see him, and it's like we connect.
And you feel this because the twins are fraternal twins, right?
Correct.
So what we do know that it is possible for
ma'am.
fraternal twins to be fathered by 2 different men. So knowing this adds to your belief that potentially you're the father of only one.
Yes, ma'am.
This is fascinating. And so how has this affected your ability to bond with the children? I know you say when you see your son, he lights up. Are you feeling like you don't want to get close to Brayley because you don't think she's yours, and you're trying to form a relationship with, how are you treating the children?
I mean, like, you know what I'm saying, when I had flown to California, she had got me out there to go see the kids. And I mean, like I said, we had a good time. I bonded with both of them. But like I said, it's just something about my son that makes me feel like that's the one that's mine.
So you all fully broke up and you went to California?
Yes,
Ms.
ma'am,
Luper.
she up and left.
Oh, yeah, I left to California.
You did?
Yes.
Why did you leave for California?
For several reasons. I was unhappy with our relationship at this point, and we were gonna have to move back with his mom. Like, if I'm gonna have to move back with somebody's mom and they're gonna like be uncomfortable with me, they're like, I'll take it from my mom, not yours. Like, I just felt more comfortable going home. I was unhappy in the relationship, like it wasn't working.
So you went back home?
Correct.
Yes, sir.
I just feel like, I feel like that she knew more than what she was telling me from the jump. And you got a man that's at least trying to stick by and see it through. I mean, why would you just up and just out of the blue, didn't call me, didn't text me, nothing? I was at work, Your Honor. And like, this is the thing. Usually when I'm at work, I get text messages, phone calls. Hey, baby, what are you doing? We miss you. We love you. Da-da-da-da, this and that. I didn't get nothing one day, and I just knew something was wrong. So I get to my house, and there's nobody there. My kids are gone, she's gone, and the first thing in my mind, because my door's unlocked too.
Right.
So I'm thinking somebody done came in my house, anybody could have did something to my kids, my girl. So I'm like, man, what's going on? So I'm calling, and I'm blowing his phone up, and I don't get no response, so then I'm really starting to get worried. And so my cousin gives me his phone, it's like, here, use my phone. Soon as I call, she picks up the first ring. I'm like, what are you doing? Where are you at? Oh, I'm with a friend. I was like, no, you're not with no friend. You're gonna tell me where you at with my kids. And then she told me, oh, your kids, what do you mean your kids? You didn't sign no birth certificate. I said, so a piece of paper makes me a father now? This is what we doing?
How old were the children then?
Maybe a month.
Ms. Luper, I gotta understand this. Today you stand before the court saying you are certain Mr. Downs is the father of your twins. But your actions during this time don't seem to indicate that you're trying to keep him connected to the children. I mean, you say, I'm unhappy in the relationship, but you're saying this is their father. Why up and leave and go clear across the country
I felt like I had no other option at that time. I felt like I had no other option.
But you believed he was their father?
Yes.
And since that time,
I didn't know if this was gonna be a permanent decision. I didn't know if I just needed to breathe. I just knew at that time, I don't wanna go with you. I don't. Where do I have to go? Nowhere. I had nowhere to go in Kentucky. The only place I had was 3,000 miles away. I just delivered twins. Like, I had 2 babies and nowhere to go. That's how I felt.
Right.
I had to do what's best for me and my children, regardless. You could have made those decisions to make us have a home, to make us be happy, and it would not have went this way. But you didn't. So I left. I felt that was my only, it was 4 weeks after I delivered twins. That's where my headspace was. That's what I thought was the best option.
You were in survival mode.
Thank you. Fight or flight, and I was done fighting with him.
I want to understand from you, Ms. Luper, because this is the part I really don't get. Okay. What are your hopes? You still live thousands of miles away, but you're here in court saying you are these children's father. Do you want to put your family back together? Do you want to try to work on this? What do you want today?
I actually have no idea what the plan would look like if these results do come back that he is the father. I do not know what the plan would look like, but I would never keep those kids away from him. Like, this was never like, I'm snatching your kids, you're never gonna see him again. I flew him to California. I paid for him to come to California to see his kids. He's an amazing father. I'm never gonna take that away from him, but I needed to go. We can figure out a plan. We can figure out something that'll work for both of us to where he can see these kids. That's not a problem. I just don't know what that looks like right now.
That's fair. That's how you really feel. I think we're in a place now where only the truth is going to help us move forward, and I have that for you. Jerome? We have 2 children, and paternity is in question for both. And because they are fraternal, we do know that they could be fathered by 2 different men, so we have 2 different results. These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. If you need paternity court, call us at 855-883-6223. In the case of Luper versus Downs, when it comes to 5-month-old Brayley Downs, it has been determined by this court, Mr. Downs, you are not the father. The next result reads as follows. In the case of Luper versus Downs, when it comes to 5-month-old Bishop Downs, it has been determined by this court. Mr. Downs, you are not the father. I'm very sorry. Miss Luper, do you know who the children's father is?
Yep.
But I've been here since the whole time, though. And
I
I'm the
wanted
bad
to give
guy.
you a moment, Mr. Downs. I know this was hard. And I know this was not the result you wanted today. And this is difficult. But the children really are the reason why we're here.
Yes, ma'am.
They both carry your last name.
Yes, ma'am.
You are not on their birth certificate. At some point, they will wonder, where did I get the last name Downs?
They know I'm their daddy.
But the question then becomes, do you want to continue to be in their life?
I do.
Ms. Luper, you've got 2 beautiful children. You've got a man who loves the children. I hope you will continue to allow him to be in their lives, but I also hope for their sake that you will reach out to their biological father and speak with them and give him the opportunity to do the same for their sake. We have counseling and resources for you both to help you all through this moment. I wish you all the very best of luck. Court is adjourned.